Right, also joining us on the show is Dr. MC Mishra, former director of AIMS. Kavita Ashok, environmentalist, is also with us on the program. Kavita Ashokji, here we are once again. And the one thing that I wanted to ask you, in fact, I wanted to ask Luke as well, that there have been PILs that have been filed in the past as well by eminent citizens, groups, and lawyers, to curtail or look into the factor of smoke in our cities and smog in our cities and pollution in our cities. That has not rendered anything important or worthwhile talking about or credible. Otherwise, we would have known the AQI would have been a little lesser than 500 plus. Do you really think that at this point in time, something unimaginably strong needs to be done? A decision has to be made that will actually save lives of hundreds and thousands and millions of people, because these small measures and these minuscule events like GRAP 3 and GRAP 4 are not really fixing the problem at the core. It's like treating a heart attack with a haircut.
So rightly put, Vineet. Very good question, because I feel that air pollution crisis is like the devil with the horns, and we refuse to see it every year. We know it's coming. We know it's heading towards us after monsoons, finishes. But then every year we have the same thing. It's a very recurrent issue, and I think whichever government is in power, when there is a voting system, everyone is very excited about it, that environment is going to get a major highlight with this particular year or the session, but it doesn't happen so. And secondly, I feel that me myself, I've been doing these campaigns with schools, universities, and as someone was Luke was saying, citizen awareness at Jantar Mantar since 2014. But we need from 2014 to 25. I don't see any response from any of the governments. Maybe even the previous one did not pay any attention. Kids were just ushered away that, okay, this is heard, now you can leave. So I have gone through that myself for 10, 15 years. I've seen this happening. Very sadly, there has been no response. Secondly, I feel the winter action plan came in late. Thirdly, GRAP, all the stages have been implemented later than they should have been. I think the GRAP 4 could have been implemented at least two weeks back. So what is happening is that because we do not are not implementing these things on time, everybody is taking it very lightly. This year, I'm sure everyone who's watching this show has noticed that most of us are not even wearing masks. Why? Delhi's got used to this living in this toxicity. We just think 400, 500 is okay. When it comes to 900,000, then I'll go buy a mask. So this is a kind of, a lifestyle that we have adapted to. Very sadly, in the capital of the country, citizens are expecting very low. So I think we need the answers. We need solutions. We need compatibility between the states to solve the stubble burning problem, the interstate, the traffic, vehicular pollution, factories, thermal plants. There are 100 elements which are adding to Delhi's air pollution. It is just not one cause. Also waste management, garbage burning, you name it, dust on the roads. There are so many reasons. I can make a whole list with you right now, but I think the answer lies with the government first and then the citizen. We should be ready to participate, by to abide by the rules. But I think the major things, like, see, we went for artificial rain this year. We tried it, it didn't work out. So what do citizens do in this? So there, the government is more, has to is answerable for that. But citizens are answerable to abide by the rules. If there is a rule that say don't do construction for these 2 weeks, we have to listen. If it says don't use vehicles with these numbers or the diesel, so we have to abide with them. So I guess it's high time. There has to be like a sahyog kind of a program where everyone has to pitch in and participate, if you want the health of your family, if you want the health of your loved ones.
Mr. Mishra, how do you assess this, you know, regular, consistent, persistent issue that we talk about every October to Jan, Feb, perhaps, and then when the weather improves, our priorities are going to be different, and this is becoming very, very seasonal in nature. Do you think the politicians also know that? When to close the ears and stop listening, and to activate whatever they have to once this bad season is over. What do you think is going on over here, sir?
Vineet, thank you so much. I think it's a very, very important discussion. And I couldn't agree more what Luke said, what Kavita ji is saying. But uh, what is to be done, I don't think public is ready for that. Kavita ji just mentioned that if you want to take off vehicles from the road, Vineet, I'll remind you, we did lot of programs during COVID
Absolutely,
lockdown.
sir. Absolutely, sir.
And do you remember we started seeing blue sky over Delhi?
Yes. Hmm.
You remember that?
Yeah, absolutely, sir.
Why? Because in lockdown, all the vehicles were off the road. Can you take vehicles off the road? Are we prepared for that ourselves? So citizens have to cooperate on that. If you really want this, because we may say stubble burning, we may say this construction, we may say Diwali cracker, these are all small contributors. The biggest contributor to pollution is vehicular exhaust in NCR. We have in NCR automobiles put together Mumbai, Chennai, Kolkata. Unless you do that by some way, whether how efficient you make public transport, you encourage people to share commuting for the workplace, unless we take off at least half of the vehicles from the road, you will see the impact immediately. Or if we can take majority of them, you will see the impact immediately. And that is something no government can enforce in a democracy like India. Unless you, if it is China, it would have been done by now. But it is India, where we may file as many PILs as we want, but neither judges can do anything, nor Supreme Court do anything, nor governments can do even if they want to do something. Unless public demands कि भाई इसके लिए क्या करना है हमें बताइए हम करेंगे वो. Let public come out and accept what is to be done. I would say if we can take off 50% automobiles from our roads, school buses alone would not do. So that is the kind of action required. Are we prepared for that? We can be emotional. Yes, what Luke said, the children today who are born, and we know that as doctors, that these children, there'll be epidemic of lung cancer in coming decades. It's already on the rise. And it will happen if these levels of pollution remain year on year and we keep breathing this air, this is going to happen. And besides lung cancer, of course, is a long term thing, but immediately cardiovascular diseases, the mental health illnesses, everything, it affects every cell of the body, this pollution. And I can show you, look, this is the, if I may show you, this is the AQI in my home today. I have put a air purifier at the source from outside. And believe me, as soon as the AQI goes above 100, it starts giving alarm. And at least we have done that because at least in the home, when whatever hours we are at home, at least we can breathe some clean air. But when we go out, we have to breathe the same air. Everybody is breathing the same air. So that is something we have to think very seriously, except that we will keep discussing. Newspaper will write, electronic media will report, we can discuss here on your channel and many other channels, but unless we are prepared to actually experience some hardship because of the vehicles being taken off the road, and if that happens, pollution will come down. 60, 70, 80% of this pollution is vehicular exhaust.
You're right
So
about
that
that,
is,
sir.
so we should not beat around the bush. Any other measure, like Luke was saying, and you also know, Kavita ji knows, or are cosmetic measures, they are not going to work. We have to face some hardship to combat this, and public has to cooperate in that. Unless public cooperates, it is not going to happen. Cannot do this, government cannot do this. It is participation from all stakeholders, and since we are at the receiving end as regards the health, we have to awaken our citizens groups, and they say we can reduce flying of vehicles on the road I think that will do a lot good than anything else. Thank you.
Kavita ji, do you think that there is also a level at which the people in our country have gotten accustomed to this menace? We did see people show up at the India Gate and protesting against pollution. But what if it was not pollution? What if the sewage system in some of the biggest metropolitan cities in our country started to overflow, and all that dirt came out on the roads? Do you think people would protest then, because it would affect their daily lives to a degree where they will be rendered immovable? They would not move around. Do you think it's also the nature of this problem that has kind of helped the politicians and the bureaucrats and the powers that be to get away with it to a certain period, till a certain period of time, and then resume life as normal?
Truly feel that Delhiites, as Delhiites, we are expecting too low. We are settling in for a very, very low. Our bar is very low for what the quality of life that one should have. We've just got so accustomed to living in this toxic air. Like when I step out these days, I'm seeing that most people are not wearing masks. Even me, I've also been, I just realized that I've also got used to it. I don't remember to carry my mask all the time in the car. Why? Because I feel ये आदत हो गई है, इतनी हवा तो हम लोग झेल सकते हैं. So that attitude of that it works, it's okay, I can handle it, I am a healthy person, it is such a misconception with most of us, and we are going to suffer because of it. Secondly, I feel that I would love to mention that it's just not vehicular pollution. It's just not vehicular pollution. Let's get this straight. We have our neighboring states. You see, in Ghaziabad in the night has these roaring factories, gurgling out smoke in the middle of the night, going unmonitored, even at this point of time. Then there is garbage burning. I've myself witnessed, and short videos. Then people are not listening. Of course, vehicular pollution is there, but what do? You can do odd, even, and you can give us better public transport, very efficient system, so that we start using it. But it's not everywhere. Thirdly, I feel there is these the road, the infrastructure problem is, of course, in some parts of Delhi it's very, very bad, and NCR has also been complaining of this kind of an issue, of dust and broken roads. So Delhi ka pollution is not only Delhi ka pollution. Delhi ka pollution is thrust upon us from, you can say, from some parts of UP, from Haryana, and Punjab. So all these states are not in compatibility with the center, and hence Delhiites are suffering like this.
All right,
Yes,
fair enough.
very
We've
sad.
run out of time, but appreciate Dr. Mishra and Kavita ji, you joining us and sharing your thoughts once again. We take a short break on that note. We'll be back.